All right, guys, welcome back. Today I'm sitting down with Larry Burton, who's running for judge of Howell County. Before we get started, guys, I just wanted to let you guys know in the coming week I will be talking to several other candidates. We will be doing breakdowns of Amendment 4, 5, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lot of misinformation going around about those. We're going to break them down in detail. We're going to get into the legislation, let you know what's really going on. That way you can make the best decision on August 4th. So without further ado, Larry, how are you, man?
Good. I'm good, Devin. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, thanks for coming on today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know this is a busy time knocking doors. How
It
you
is.
feeling about the election?
I feel pretty good about it. We've talked to a lot of people. We've been out, like you said, going door to door and those types of things, and met some business owners and some people, and it's been kind of an odd thing for me because I'm not a politician. I've never ran for anything before, and campaigning is weird because it's not something that just comes natural. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment for me. Uh, I think if you're real comfortable campaigning, you got to screw loose or
Yeah.
something because it's a weird thing. It's not normal because you're going to someone's house. They're a complete stranger. You're knocking on their door. It feels invasive,
Yeah.
but it's what you have to do in a campaign. And I've had people knock on my doors. I'm always polite to them when they're campaigning and stuff, and I understand it, but it still feels a little weird when you're the one doing it.
Yeah.
Plus, you're asking for something, and my generation specifically and how I grew up, we didn't ask for nothing. If you wanted something, you went out and got a job, you worked, and you got it.
Yep.
That's how we were raised. So, unless I was applying for a mortgage or a car loan, I don't really ask people for anything. If I want something, I go out and work for it and do it. But so it's weird on that point. But the response we've had from the people we've talked to has been overwhelmingly good.
Yeah.
Whether it's been a Facebook ad that we ran or the door to door stuff or just people I met out on the street, they'll come up to me and say they seen a sign or something like that. The response has been really positive. You get the oddball crackpot that come on an ad and say something derogatory about me, and I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And they're talking like they know me personally, like I've done some wrong to them, and I don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
So you have those, but I think those are really outliers. I think for the most part, it's been really positive. I've had a lot of former clients have made positive comments on the Facebook ads, or they've come up and seen me, and they always say, "Hope you win, Larry," because they know me personally.
Yeah.
They know the type of person I am, so they've all been really supportive. So I think and plus my family has really helped. My wife especially, she is just busted her tail on this campaign. I mean, she's run the whole thing. I pretty much just let her run it, and she tells me where to go and
Say yes,
when I got to
ma'am.
be there. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'll do.
Yep.
And I've got three of my children have been big into it, going door to door, and it's just been overwhelming. My wife's brother has helped us with the door to door stuff because I would love to be able to meet everybody,
Yeah.
but it's just not possible. Plus, I work full time, so it's really hard for me. If you were just working a couple of days a month, you have
Easy to
more
get-
time
yeah.
to get out there and meet people. But so I've had some help, and I really appreciated how much the family has helped with the campaign, especially my wife. I mean, I think she's going to be as glad about October or August 5th as anyone in this state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it'll be over.
And there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Oh, it is. She does all the Facebook stuff. I don't know when it'll be coming out, but she's got me. I don't know when we're doing it, but she's wanting to do it basically a commercial where not like a podcast, but just a commercial that is probably going to be 30 seconds, 45 seconds that she can run on
Kind of
Facebook.
like get to know
or
you.
something. Right.
Yeah.
So she's going to do that. That's a big undertaking. Well, you produce
yeah.
stuff to put on. It's not easy.
It's not.
It takes a lot of time and effort and editing and all that stuff. So it's been really tough on her. I think it's stressing her out a little bit, but I do appreciate all the stuff they put in. And I've had friends of mine come to me, want signs. They put out signs. They talk to people. It's word of mouth. It's how this stuff goes.
Well, and bigger picture, a lot of work, but you're the man for the job. You know, you character says a lot about a person. You know, you have stellar character. I've known you, I mean, my whole life. I went to school with your daughters, you know,
Yeah.
so I've known you forever. I know what kind of person you are. The community knows what kind of person you are. You know, your family going out and doing all this, that says a lot. You're a family man, you know, and that's why I've been trying to really relay to the people when they ask about judges is, you know, who's Larry? Well, he's one of us. You know, he doesn't live in an echo chamber. You know, you can find you at the golf course or wherever, you know, I mean, you're around the community, you've done a lot. And I just appreciate that about you, that you are just a normal citizen, normal person who's chased your dreams.
Yeah, family has always been important to me ever since I was a kid. I'm the oldest of six.
Big family.
Big family. And my mom and dad, we ate dinner table every night.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot anymore, but we did. Yeah. And growing up, I was responsible for my 5 siblings.
Yeah.
A lot, because both my mom and my dad had to work. So I grew up with responsibility from a young age. And I learned the value of work. I learned the value of working smart. I learned that I was not going to be great at manual labor my whole life.
Yeah.
Which is why you see me.
I wish I would have learned that.
Yeah. Because, and it was basically something my dad had told me when I was about 12. And it's where this was cemented for me. He told me, he said, son, your back's good till you're about 40.
Yeah.
Your mind's good till you're in your 70s. So take that accordingly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I took that to heart. And I've done a lot of hard work, roofing houses, putting on metal roofs, hauling hay.
Yeah.
Well, I hauled a lot of hay when I was a kid. That's why you don't see me.
That's why you
with
don't like
cows.
it. Yeah.
You won't see me with cows. I've done too much work with cows as a kid, and that ruined me. I have a lot of respect for guys that work cattle all the time. That stuff is hard. That is hard, hot work.
Yep.
Especially back in the day, you had square bales, and
Those things are heavy.
You get the old flatbed truck, put it in granny low, and let it
Let it creep.
drive itself, and you'd stack it. And
For
that
a
wasn't
nickel?
for a nickel a bale or something. And that wasn't too bad. But then you get to put it in the barn that's 140 degrees.
Yeah.
And it was work.
Yeah.
So it's probably why I don't have any cows.
Yeah. I don't blame you. You know, I wish I would have took that advice.
But it was like, that was how we grew up. You know, we didn't have money.
Yeah.
You know, we worked paycheck to paycheck, and I was 14 years old working, helping at the house.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we had to do then. And so I learned the value of that at a young age. And like now, I have 6 kids of my own. Mm-hmm. I have 4 biological children, 2 I adopted from my wife's previous marriage. So we have 6 kids. I have 8 grandkids. All have busy lives. Mm-hmm. So what we started about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I think it was, is we started doing Sunday dinner at the house.
That's awesome.
When I was a kid, I had a friend of mine whose grandma did Sunday dinner. Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Yep.
I mean, we went every Sunday that we could go.
Yeah.
And I would go with my friend, and they always had like fried chicken, and they were probably not always in season, but deer meat,
Yeah.
you know, turkey
Don't need to
breast.
talk about that.
Yeah. But it was just a smorgasbord of food.
Yeah.
And there was no drama, family drama or nothing. It was just everybody was having a good time,
Yeah.
and I just really loved it. So we started doing that. Now, since the campaign started, we've knocked it down to once a month.
Yeah.
My wife is busy enough, and nobody wants to eat my cooking. So, I mean, I can cook a couple things, but not.
I'm pretty good at mac and cheese.
Yeah, my wife is a really good cook, so we knocked it down to once a month until the election's over. But those types of things, I get to see the grandkids and the kids come over, and we get to spend time together. It's always been important. It will always be important. That you can't underestimate the importance of family. I can tell you, the loneliest I've ever been was when I was in law school. I was living in Liberty, Missouri. I was going to UMKC at Kansas City, and I was in an apartment up there by myself, eating dinner alone.
Yeah.
It's the
Dark
loneliest
place.
I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
I need family.
Yeah.
I've had it my whole life. I can't not have family around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I can't tell you how lonely it was to eat alone.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling in the world.
It is, and you don't know until you've done
you
it. Like,
don't.
because I'm like you. I come from a huge family, and
The only thing that was kind of nice is I could watch TV without getting interrupted.
exactly, yeah, have your plate in your lap.
Right. But the rest of it, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
I'm family oriented. I have to have family around, and my family's very important to me, and they're very supportive. My daughters have went above and beyond. My son has went above and beyond. He was out there with the post pounder putting in steaks for me, and Missouri ground.
Oh,
It
yeah,
ain't
it's hard.
easy.
It's rock.
It's not easy to get those steaks in the
No.
ground. I would slam on it a few times. And I was like,
Here you go.
Here
It's all yours.
You're 23 years old. Here you get after it. 22 years old. Get after it.
Yep. He
I'm
needs
53.
that. That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But that is, family is a huge thing, especially for taking on like this kind of endeavor. You got to have that
Absolutely.
family behind you. And if you do it by yourself or don't do it with your family, I think that's psychotic or psychopathic.
Yeah.
What
I couldn't do it without
No.
them. I couldn't.
No. What led you to decide that law is your passion?
Well, when I was in my 20s, my dad and I had a trucking company. It's still there, Burton Transport there in Mountain View. My dad and I started at Trailliner in Springfield. And I think I was probably 24, 25 at the time. And I started working with him. We drove together. We drove over the road, coast to coast. We hauled produce and dry stuff, depending on which coast we were leaving. And then we bought our first truck together and leased it through Trailliner. And then we bought another one and another one. And before you knew it, we had like 25 or 30 trucks. And we opened up an office there in town. And then I started brokering our own loads, not just Trailliner. We would started using a brokerage firm. I don't even know if they're still in existence now, but it's called C.H. Robinson. That was the first one I started working with. And then about, I think I might have been, this has been 2005, I think it was. So I would probably been about 32. I was burnt out on it because it was I think the stress of that job was going to put me in an early grave.
Yeah.
Because you were trying to squeeze every penny out of every dime.
Yep.
Trucking is not a large profit margin type of business. So depending on fuel prices and all these other different things and maintenance worries and all that stuff, it was going to put me in an early grave. So I sold out to Dad. I said, I got to get out of this stuff. It's one thing I've learned in life is I don't have the secret to life or anything like that, but I truly believe you got to live as happy a life as you can.
Yeah.
Because it's a short one.
Yeah.
In the cosmic scheme of things,
Absolutely.
It's pretty short.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just not happy doing this. I got to do something else. So I became a police officer. I always wanted to be a police officer. It was always in the back of my mind, and it wasn't I wanted to carry a gun and boss people around kind of thing. It was more out of a sense of I can make sure the right thing's done. Because like I said, I'm the oldest of 6. I've been setting things right my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I was always trying to stop the stuff from the younger siblings and making sure things were done right. And that's why the law appealed to me, is because, one, even when I was in school, I hated bullies. I was in so many fights in school, sticking up for people. It would blow your mind the number of fights I was in. And it was almost all, now some of it was my mouth. I was a smart aleck.
No.
That's what my mom would call me, a smart aleck. And I wasn't very big back then.
Yeah.
When I was in the 9th grade, I was 5'1". I weighed about 120 pounds. I grew 13 inches in high school.
That's wild.
It was
shrunk.
crazy. Yeah. But so that appealed to me. I don't like seeing people bullied. I don't like people in positions of power taking advantage of people that don't have any.
Yeah.
And that's what appealed to me as a police officer. And I did that for about 5 years, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a blast. Now, there were boring parts of it. There were times, if you were working a midnight shift from 2 to 5, there was nothing going on.
Yeah.
You're bored stiff.
Yeah.
But
And you didn't have cell phones to like scroll TikTok back then.
Right.
I couldn't imagine that.
So it was a fun job at times. It was really fun. and I was good at it. I mean, I, I think for each of the years I was a police officer in Mountain View, I had more felony arrests and more citations written than the entire department combined.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I was active.
Yeah.
You know,
You're doing the job.
I did the job because I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Same way I am an attorney. I do a lot of
Yes,
stuff
you do.
as an attorney
Yes, you
because I enjoy it. And it was funny. I'd probably still be a police officer if I hadn't got hurt. We were doing a high-risk warrant service school. I was a member of the West Plains Howell County SWAT team, or back then they called it SRT.
Yeah.
I think they call it SWAT now.
Some hard charges to do with that. I mean, you're in some dangerous situations with that.
There was never any real on the edge of your seat stuff when I was on the SWAT team, but there were times when it was pretty tense. But mostly it was pretty straightforward. And you had a lot of very good officers for backup, so that's a calming part of it when you have well-trained members of the team that are backing you up.
Yep.
And you know their stuff.
Yeah.
It's a calming part of it.
Yes, it is.
And that was a lot of fun. And we trained all the time too. You know, we trained every month. You know, we go to the shooting range. We did all these things. But we were at this high-risk warrant service school, and I think the guy's name is put on the school is B.J. Johnson. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's what his name was. And there was this drill we had to do called a down man drill, where me and Don Crowley had to belly crawl over to a guy and pull him to safety.
Yep.
And the guy we had to belly crawl over to was Jared Peterman. I don't know if you ever met Jared Peterman, but that is 280 pounds of solid country boy. I mean, he's a big old boy.
Yeah.
Super nice guy, by the way. But big country boy.
Yeah. Hard pull.
Solid. And I don't think Mr. Crowley was pulling his weight. Because after that day, and I don't know that's where I did it, but after that day, my back was never right.
Yeah.
And it finally got me down so much I had to go to the doctor. And it turns out I'd herniated a couple discs in my back and did some nerve damage and stuff. And I don't know if you've ever hurt your back, but it'll take your legs away
Yes,
from
it
you.
will.
You won't be able to walk. I was using a putter getting around my house because I couldn't hardly walk. And went to see a neurologist, and they're like, well, we can do this surgery on you. We can cut away this and cut away that. And he explained the whole procedure, and he said, there's a 50-50 shot it'll make you better, but it might make you worse. I said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't take worse.
Yeah.
And so I was placed on disability. And that sounds great. They give you a check every month. You ain't got to do nothing. You can sit at the house. And at the time, because of the trucking company I owned before I was a police officer, the disability I was receiving was twice what I was making as a cop.
Yeah.
And all of my stuff was paid for. My house was paid for, my car. I didn't have any bills.
Yeah.
And I was making twice what I was making before, and that sounds real great. We'll give you this check every month. You ain't got to do nothing. After about 2 months of that, I was going crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it. And I remember to this day, I was sitting in my house, sitting on the couch, watching TV, eating Doritos. And I had an epiphany. I don't know if you'd really call it one. That's what I'm
It's
calling
an epiphany.
it. That's what I'm calling it. I said to myself, Larry, if you don't get your ass off this couch and go do something, in 5 years you're going to be sitting here eating a bag of Doritos weighing 400 pounds.
Yeah.
You better go do something.
Good thing you had the foresight.
Right.
A lot of people don't.
And my wife, I think things happen for a reason. She had just been talking about going back to school at the same time. So she tries to take credit for me going back to school.
Ah, gotcha.
But
Called her out.
yeah. So she was talking about it. So I thought, yeah, I'll go back to school. I had a year in because I went to college right out of high school for a year and hated it. And I got out. But I had a year in already. So I thought, why not? I'm not doing anything. So I went to SBU, there in Mount View, and took classes. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't like when I was 19.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 19, you're like, I don't want to do this. Or 18 or 19, you know, I don't want to do this. I want to go out with my buddies, you know. I don't want to do this. I was just too immature at the time. But I really enjoyed it. And I was really good at it. You know, in high school and stuff, I could not even pay attention in class and I could get a passing grade.
Yep.
So that's what I did.
Yep.
You know, I didn't see any point in trying real hard, but I could just show up and pass.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Didn't
easy.
challenge you.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I got to undergrad, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the learning process. because I'd always enjoyed books, reading. I mean, I've probably been through 3,000 or 4,000 books in my life.
That's awesome.
So I've always enjoyed that. And then when I went to undergrad, I really enjoyed learning. It surprised me as much as anything how much I enjoyed it. And I did a year there at SBU in Mountain View, and I didn't know if I wanted to go to law school or if I wanted to go to medical school. I wanted to go to one or the other.
Mm-hmm. So you doctor or lawyer is kind of where you were heading.
Right, because and it wasn't, I know what people are going to think it's because I wanted to make a bunch of money. No, it wasn't it, because I worked as a police officer and I loved it. Mm-hmm. It's the first time I'd ever had a job that I enjoyed going to work.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, oh, I got to go to work. It was, I get to go to work.
Yeah.
It's the first time. So I wanted to try to find something that was going to excite me again. And my second year in undergrad, I went to Bolivar because they had classes there you couldn't take at SBU. Mm-hmm. And if you can picture this 30-something-year-old man living on campus in Bolivar with a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds.
Yeah, it doesn't real mesh well, does it?
Oh, I had some really good guys in my dorm, and I got along with them really well. And they were way more mature than I was at their age, but they were still
19, 20-year-olds, yeah.
So I had to set them straight a couple of times, but mostly they were really good guys. I got along with them really well. But in that year, I took chemistry, and it settled what I was going to do. Because I can do science, and I can do math, but when you mesh the two together,
it don't make sense.
My brain misfires or something. And it's weird because, and I don't mean any offense to any math professors or science professors out there, but they're not normal people.
You're not?
Their brains don't work the same as ours.
No.
I had my chemistry professor, brilliant guy. He was probably 28 or 29 at the time when I was in college. Brilliant guy. Could not have a conversation with him.
So awkward.
He was so awkward, you couldn't talk to him hardly. But chemistry-wise, brilliant.
Yeah.
He was a brilliant guy, but you couldn't really talk to him.
Yeah.
And it was like, that cemented it for me that I'm not going to go to medical school because you got to excel at that stuff if you're going to do it. Well, I might have been able to go and muddled through, but I don't want to do that.
But look at doctors. I mean, when you go to a doctor, there's no personality there. And I don't mean that in any bad way, but they're dry.
Yeah. I've met a couple that had a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like Bob
very dark.
Like before he passed away, he had a very dry sense of humor. Yes. I loved it.
Yep.
I absolutely loved it. Judge Ray, who's on the bench right now, has the same type of humor.
Really?
It's
kind of dry?
Yeah, he was, we were in court the other day, and Judge Ray said he had seen one of my signs was missing over by Muggs in West Plains. I said, really? And I said, well, we'll go out there and check it. He said, well, it's probably in some girl's bedroom right now. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
He's just smiling from ear to ear after he said it. He said it real deadpan, and then he's just smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, just like a slow burn for you.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the type of sense of humor he has. It's hilarious. But yeah, I took chemistry, and I was like, no, I'm not going to law school. So I shifted gears to just fully focus on law school, and I went and took the LSAT, scored high enough on that, and applied. And the first law school I heard back from was UMKC in Kansas City. So that's where I went. Plus, they were the cheapest in the state. And it's not, what am I at the time? 30, I would have been 39, 40 when I started law school. 39.
So it's never too late to chase your dream.
No, there was a guy in there that was 64.
Wow.
Was in law school. But I was 39-ish, I think. And was I 39 or 40? Somewhere around there.
That's courage.
And it was so different than undergrad.
Yeah.
And it was like, I had to get out of my cop brain.
Yeah.
And because law school doesn't teach you the practice of law. It doesn't teach you how to be a lawyer. What it teaches you is a way to think.
Okay.
A way to, how to think, how to analyze words, basically. Because what they call it is IRAC. Issue, rule, application, conclusion. If you figure that method out, you can pass law school. because you're supposed to be able to read a case and spot the issue. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
What's the real issue?
When you got all these little minor things
Right.
floating around it. Okay.
Because there'll be and that's where I had to get out of the cop brain, because all these other facts were getting
That's
in
what
my
you
way.
would focus
Right,
on as a
that's what
cop.
I want to know what all the, no. You
Core
have
issue.
you have to zero in on the core issue, and then once you do that, it's pretty simple from there, because all you got to do is find the rule and apply it. Law school really doesn't care what your conclusion is.
Yeah.
What they want to know is that, one, you can spot the issue, and you can apply the proper rule to that issue.
And then defend it.
Yeah, and then defend it. Yeah, and it was different. And then after the 2L year, you can do what they call Rule 13 certified. You can go and practice law in like a prosecutor's office, which is what I did at Howell County Prosecutor's Office, under another attorney, and you can actually cross-examine witnesses and do that kind of stuff. So Rizwan Ahad and I did a trial that summer that I did my Rule 13 thing, and it was so fun. And Rizwan did the opening statement and the closing statement. I did everything in between.
Oh, wow. So he kind of handed you the reins.
He said, have at it. And he was there.
Yeah,
If I mess something up, he's going to step in. He didn't have to step in because I didn't mess nothing up. But he did the opening statement and the closing statement. And when the trial was over, we were up in his office waiting for the jury to come back. And I can remember this very distinctly. I'm sitting in his office with that same juice running through me that used to when we'd post up at a door we were fixing to kick in when I was a police officer.
Yeah.
It was that same juice. It was like just that same, and I knew then I picked it right. Because you don't ever really know.
Yeah.
You know, you spend all this time and money on this thing, and you may hate it, but I knew
That's what you
day
want.
that was the right call. I did the right thing. So that was pretty cool. It was like just an affirming of what I believed, because you can think something, but then when you're actually in the middle of doing it, you're like, well, that's not what I thought.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, crap. I just spent
But
all this time.
Luckily for me, it was like a weight lifted.
Yeah.
Because I knew.
Well, and that's courageous, man, to take it in your 30s.
Yeah, it was tough.
I'm scared to change
my
my
wife
underwear
ag-
brand.
My wife again was very supportive.
Yeah.
You know, she knew because I wasn't going to be able to work. I got disability, but we're going to be living in two different houses. So now we got two different different households we're having to pay bills on. So she was going to have to work. Plus she was taking care of kids at the time. So there was a lot of stuff on her shoulders, and she always says I don't appreciate her. I mean, that's what wives do, I
yeah,
guess.
they all do that.
But I really do. I think she believes I do.
Yeah.
Because
She's
I
gotta
don't
give
think
you a
she
hard
would
time.
stick around if she didn't think I did.
Yeah.
But she took on so much, especially during that time, and it was, money was tight because we were having to provide stuff for two different places, and then I wouldn't get to come home very often because we didn't have the money for that, and it was
Kids on top of it?
yeah, and plus the kids and school clothes and all those things, and it was a trying time, and you're doing all this with the idea that you're gonna like it,
Yeah,
it's gonna pan out, and you don't really know that it will, but you keep the faith that it's going to. And it was funny that the job my wife got while I was in law school was with Henry and Williams over in West Plains.
Oh, really?
At a law office, which turns out helped us.
Yeah.
Because after I graduated law school, I just hung out a shingle, opened up an office there in Mountain View. Kent Smith's office building across from Godfather's. We rent from him, have been for 10 years. Super guy, Kent. He's a super nice guy. He's been really good to us. Let us put out signs and stuff. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
But it's hard to really put into words how much faith it takes to make that jump, and then the tens and tens of thousands of dollars it costs to do all of it. You're making a really big investment, and you might get to the end of it and like, I hate this.
Yeah.
But luckily for me, I love my job.
Yeah.
I think it's a blast.
And you're talking about her believing in you. Or you believing in her, but I love how much she believes in you. I mean, shown by her hard work and this campaign and wanting the right person on the bench.
If you want to see my wife get fired up, say something bad about me.
Exactly. Yep.
Watch her.
Yep.
Just watch her. It's awesome.
You just stand back there and nod the head. Yeah.
It's almost like you can wind her up, man. All you got to do is have someone say something bad about me. She'll get wound up.
Sick the dogs on.
Yeah, she get wound up over those weird comments you get on the Facebook.
But those are just trolls.
I know. It's like, I tell her, don't let that stuff. I had a guy, former client. I was helping him on a protection order case, and he'd even got a criminal case that I didn't charge him for, but I got parked to dismiss it over in Texas County. I just took care of it for him. Didn't even charge him for it. And he had sent a letter to the petitioner in the protection order case as me.
Oh my gosh.
And just threatening her, crazy threats to her, and wanting this and that from her, and put it on some weird, stupid looking letterhead that looked like it's from Burton Law, and it was not. And just went off on her. Well, Park found out about it, and he called me, and he sent me a copy of the letter. He said, I know this isn't yours. I've seen your letterhead, but I thought you should know. And he said, if you want me to, I'll press charges against him.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you don't have to press charges against him. I'm not looking for that. But I fired him as a client. I don't need him doing that kind of stuff. And then like the next month or something, he's just on Facebook just trashing me and just going off on me. And I had all these clients coming to my defense, arguing with him.
Yeah.
And I call him and I tell him, stop. I don't care what he says.
Yeah.
He's entitled to his opinion. He's wrong, but he can say whatever he wants. It's not going to affect me. I appreciate that you have my back. I really do.
That's pretty awesome.
It is. I bet there was 15 former clients got on him about it. I mean, it was crazy. And I told him, I said, I appreciate the support, I do, but you don't have to respond to that stuff. There's no point in responding to stupid.
Yeah.
You can't fix it.
No, you can't. And they've already got their mind made up.
And he's completely wrong in everything he's
done.
And you just have to consider the source and move on. I'm not losing any sleep over it. And if it does cost me a client or something, I'm not going to lose any meals over it either.
Exactly.
So I told him, I said, I appreciate the support, but don't lower yourself to that, and don't waste your time arguing with stupid. It's not going to help you.
No, and then breathing air into it just makes it worse.
Yeah, it just
every time
fuels the fire. It's you just got to consider the source and move on. And it was kind of nice having people support you.
Well, that just shows how good of a job you
Right.
do. I mean, if your clients
I try to treat people as fairly as possible, and I will not blow smoke up a client's butt.
No, you
I just won't. I will tell them straight up if they have a misconception about the law, or if they have a misconception about the position their case is in, I will tell them. I don't shine them on. I don't tell them that I can produce stuff I can't, that I can get results that I can't. I'm very straightforward with them. You should hear the way I talk to some of my criminal clients.
Yeah.
Probably not good for this podcast, but I've been pretty straight with them.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always been. And I think while they may not appreciate it in that moment,
they appreciate it.
I think at the end of the day they do.
Yeah.
They may think, well, that was rude, or you shouldn't have said it that way. But then once they get to the end of it and they see the reasons it was, I think they feel differently about it.
And you're dealing with real world consequence.
Absolutely. Especially as a judge, you're dealing with people's lives, their families, their businesses, their communities. You're affecting every walk of life as a judge based on the decisions you make.
Yep.
So it's an enormous responsibility. It's not something I would take lightly. It's as much of a leap of faith as it was when I became an attorney.
Yeah.
Because while I know what judges do, I've never been a judge.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a leap of faith here as well. I'm asking voters to take a leap of faith on me, and I'm telling you, I'm taking a leap with you.
Yeah.
Because I've never been a judge. So I know what judges do. I know the law. I know what types of cases they hear. I know what the law is in those types of cases. But the actual job, I don't know.
Well, you're a hard worker. Let's just lay it out. Like, how many hours have you spent just this month alone in a courtroom? What do you think?
They asked me that in the debate we had Wednesday night, and I should count it up, but I would say it's got to be 100, give or take 20.
That's wild.
I think it's got to be, because I try to at least have 1 or 2 office days a month, because I got to be able to meet with clients.
Yeah.
So my schedule is that, well, I could show you on my phone. Every day has something on it.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last 6 months, unless it was a holiday or I was on vacation, there's something on that day, almost every day.
Well, and all people have to do is go grab a docket.
Yeah.
And see you're there.
Yeah, you'll see my name on the docket a lot.
Yeah.
I would say most weeks I'm in court at least 3, if not 4 days a week.
Yeah.
I try to keep Fridays lighter, because typically by Friday I'm already wore out.
Yep.
And I try to be done by noon. Now, it doesn't always work, and I won't turn down docket days or something because it's a Friday. But I try to avoid Friday afternoon dockets. One, nobody wants to be there.
Exactly.
Clerks don't want to be there. Judges don't want to be there.
Yeah.
No, bailiffs don't want to be there. Nobody wants to be there. It's the end of the week. So I try to at least be done by noon on Fridays. But the most, I would say, every Monday and Tuesday I'm in court somewhere.
Yeah.
Every Monday and Tuesday. Most Wednesdays and Thursdays, if I'm not in one, I'm in the other, or both. And if you threw in city work that I do, those are usually Wednesdays in Mountain View. So you probably throw in even more. But I
know that's a hard question.
Sit down and counted it up, but I would say out of whether 20 to 22 working days a month for courtrooms, because you don't have weekends, I'm probably in a courtroom 17 of them.
Yeah. That's wild.
18 of them.
Yeah.
And it's been that way every day for 10 years.
And people need to understand, when you're in court, it doesn't take 30 minutes and you're out.
No, well, that's like in the debate the other night, Lyndall Baird said that he's more efficient. He's only in there 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you only have one case. I have 30.
Yeah.
I don't care how efficient I am.
Yeah.
I'm not getting done with 30 cases in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially not if my client is demanding we have a preliminary hearing.
Yeah.
Because if that's what they demand, I got to do it. And if it's just some probate case, you're going in there for a case review and
pretty easy.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, you're in there 5 minutes. But when you're trying to work out cases and you've got 25 or 30 on the docket, no.
Dealing with people's lives.
Dealing with people's lives. Like,
because you're in the thick of it.
There was one day in Shannon County, and it's still a record to this day, I'm pretty sure. We did, I believe it was 15 felony pleas and 3 or 4 misdemeanor pleas.
Holy
in
crap.
one docket.
Wow.
Ask Judge Brewer. She was there. Ask Melanie Williams. She was there. We did 15 felony pleas that one day.
That's efficient.
Yeah.
That's efficient.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what made you what was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, on be like, I'm going to make this leap of faith and I'm going to run for judge?
Well, my wife will not admit it, but it was her idea.
Ah.
She will not admit that, but she's the one that put the idea in my head. And the thing that appealed to me was anybody that knows me, you can ask anybody that's seen me in a courtroom, I am a zealous advocate.
Yes.
I fight hard.
You do.
Not really fight. That's a bad word. I hate that word. I advocate hard.
Yes, you do.
And I have done everything but jump up and down on top of the table at times in a courtroom, especially if I think I'm right.
Yep.
And I think I'm right most of the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody? But the thing that I think appeals to me most about it is that as an attorney, I advocate. That's what I do. People think you argue. If you argue as an attorney, you're a bad attorney. You persuade as an attorney, you're a good attorney.
Gotcha.
So I advocate. I try never to argue.
Yeah.
It delves in. It will go into arguments at times. You can't help it. It's an occupational hazard. But if you're doing your job right, You're persuading. You're not arguing. So I have to advocate, as an attorney, I have to advocate for a position, a side, because there's always two sides, sometimes three or four, depending on the case. But I'm advocating for a position. I don't always agree with the position, but I'm paid to advocate for that position. It's what I'm paid to do. I don't always agree with that position. I have represented people I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But everybody's entitled to an attorney. It's how the system works. I do my job, and I do it well, and I do it vigorously. And I do it so I can lay my head down at night and know that I did my job as best I could. Am I the greatest lawyer in the world? No. Have I made mistakes as an attorney? Absolutely, I have. But I learn from those. You don't see me make the same one twice. I learn from them. I've learned what will work and what won't work. But as an attorney, you're advocating for that position. Sometimes I love the position I'm advocating.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
As a judge, you're advocating for the truth.
Completely different thing. Yeah.
For justice, for the law. You're advocating for that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that idea because I'll always be advocating for something I believe in.
Yeah.
As an attorney, I'm not always advocating for something I believe in, but as a judge, I can, because my job as a judge is to protect the Constitution, advocate for the law, and seek the truth, because the truth is sorely, sorely lacking in our courtrooms. I have seen so much lying in a courtroom, it boggles my mind. It was one of the things that disheartened me about the practice of law, because not that I'm idealistic or naive or anything like that, because I'm not, but I believe the courtroom is supposed to be a place where truth is found.
Yes.
Where it's heard, where it's seen, where it's celebrated, and it's not.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it get back to that. I think it was at one point, because I believe the law, I don't want to get too sappy about this, but I believe in the law. I love the law. I believe the law is benevolent. I think people mess up the law, but I think the law in and of itself is benevolent.
And net good, yeah.
Because it wants to right the wrong. It's what the law wants to do. And you can take it back throughout history, from the Justinian Code, the Hammurabi Code, the Napoleon Code, all the way through statutory law, the UCC, all these, the constitutions, all these judge-made law and common law and all these things. Throughout the history, that's been its goal. When there's a wrong, we have to find a remedy. And that's what its goal is. And I don't think it's that way anymore.
Yeah.
I would like to see it get back to that. Because I see...
It's a breath of fresh air to hear this.
I see rulings, and I'm not throwing any particular judges under the bus, and maybe ultimately they were right for how they ruled, but in the moment and what I seen, I thought they were wrong.
Yeah.
Now, maybe eventually they're proven right. I don't know. You, as an attorney, you file that away. This is how they believe.
Yeah.
And you go to the next one.
Yeah.
But I had a client one time that was wanting to adopt his stepdaughter. Good guy, bad past.
Yeah.
He was a really hard worker. He had a very long criminal history. A lot of drugs, a lot of robberies and burglaries and that kind of stuff. And his criminal history was longer than this table is sitting here in front of us.
A lot of bad mistakes.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, I don't know if the judge will approve this adoption, step-parent adoption. I said, but here's our chance. What you have to do is you have to go in there and be brutally honest. You cannot sugarcoat your past. You have to tell him the exact kind of scumbag you were then. And then tell him who you are now. If you're honest with him about who you were, he'll believe who you are. So don't try to shine it on. Don't try to minimize it. Tell him exactly who you were, what changed you, and who you are now. If you do that, you got a shot. And Judge Evans was on the bench at the time, by the way. And we got done with that adoption, and Judge Evans approved the adoption. He said, you know, That's the longest criminal history of any adoption I've ever approved. He said, but I believed you.
Yeah.
I believed what you told me. And I love seeing the truth in a courtroom.
Well, just the bluntness and the truth of it.
Yeah. I told him, I said, don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to soft pedal it.
Yeah.
You be brutally honest. You tell him exactly the type of person you were then.
And do you feel like the theatrics sometimes gets too much within a courtroom, or do you think for the most part it is very well within the...
I'm probably as theatrical as any of them, because you can ask the judges. I will put on a show at times.
I guess you have to, right?
You do.
You do.
Well, Judge Allen can tell you. I was in a juvenile case one time, and the mom was not going to get her kids back because she wasn't doing what she's supposed to do, but she was all poor, pitiful me, and nobody's helping me, and nobody's doing this, nobody's doing that. So I went into court, and I did everything but jump up and down on the table. I went after children's division like they were Hitler, and I ripped into everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in that courtroom. And afterwards, Judge Allen made a comment about it. He said, I thought you was going to get on top of the table. He said, she can't say you weren't advocating for her. I said, no, she cannot. And it was 90% show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. But sometimes that's what's needed.
Yeah, because it was like, you don't think I've been advocating for you hard enough? Well, watch this.
Yeah.
I'll
leave
show
no
you
doubt in your mind
that it doesn't matter how hard I advocate. If you don't work this system, you're not getting your kids back.
Yeah.
If you don't do the work, nothing I do is going to matter.
Yeah.
I can put on this show.
It's not going to matter at the end.
And it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of that going on, but I'm probably as guilty of it as anybody at times. But I enjoy being in a courtroom. It's my favorite part of the job. I like trials. I like hearings. I like being in a courtroom. I like the whole process. And I'm comfortable in it. I'm good on my feet. If I can remember times when I just get appointed a case, don't even know about it till I'm there. Now I'm arguing a bond motion 2 minutes after I meet the guy.
Yeah.
And I'll get a bond amendment.
Yeah.
I'm like,
heck yeah, I'm pretty good at this.
I'm pretty good at this. It's like quick on your feet's a good skill to have. But
and you're not new to the community. You've been here what?
I was born in St. Louis. We moved to Birch Tree when I was 6 in the first grade. I think I told you this earlier. It's why they call me Larry.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know this.
Yeah, I was in the first grade, and my family called me Robbie or Robert, mostly Robbie, especially my cousins, my mom, my brothers. They always called me Robbie. And when I went to first grade in Birch Tree, our first grade teacher, Miss Parsons, decided that she was going to call me Larry because there's already a Robert in the class.
Get your name stolen from you?
Yeah. And what was funny is that it was Bobby Barnes. They don't even call him Robert.
Yeah,
they call him Bobby. But they started calling me Larry, so it stuck. I've been Larry ever since. But if you ever came to my house when I was younger, my close friends that were always over at the house, because my dad's name was Larry, would always call me Robert or Robbie, and my cousins and my family always called me Robbie. But everybody outside that called me Larry, and then the Larry just stuck. And I've been Larry.
Is that
ever
crazy?
Since.
First grade, and then that's
first grade.
Your
Miss
name's
Parsons.
Still Larry.
Thank you, Miss Parsons. If you're out there somewhere watching this,
I love that.
Yeah, and it's a name you don't hear people naming their kids anymore. Larry's that's a name is dying.
Big time.
There's no Larrys in the world anymore. I'm like one of the last ones.
I don't think I'd have my son and be like Larry.
Yeah,
no offense. I mean, the name's great.
It's like
it's a strong name.
Yeah, well, it's mine. I'll wear it proudly, but you just don't see a lot of Larrys anymore. But it is what it is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we moved to Birch Tree when I was 6. I was in the first grade, and we actually had moved away one time. I think I might have been 5th grade, maybe 5th grade or so. My dad my mom had some family in Texas, and we went to Texas for a year, and he roofed houses down there. And I was probably like 12 at the time. And I spent all summer roofing houses in Texas.
Don't
up
envy
on
you on that.
up on roofs with that black felt
Yeah.
with 100-degree temperature and about 140 on that roof. Roofing houses one summer.
In
And
Texas, of all
in
places.
Texas. And then, so we were there for, I think it was either half a school year or maybe the whole school year. I can't remember. But then we came back and we were there. I think when I was 19, I moved to Mountain View. Then that's when I started driving a truck. We had lived in a place in Birch Tree. I'd bought a lot there and I'd put a trailer house on it and I was staying there. And then my first wife and I bought a house in Mountain View. And that would have been probably 30 years ago, maybe a little less, right around 30. But we'd lived in Mountain View for a while, then we had that place and we moved to Mountain View. So I'd say I've been in Mountain View for at least 30 years, maybe 32.
You're
something like that.
pillar in the community at this
I've
point.
been
You've
here
been here.
I've been here forever.
Anyone in Mountain View knows exactly where you're at.
Yeah, I'm not hard to find.
No.
And typically, I go in a store, people say, "Hi, Larry," all the time. And sometimes I recognize them, sometimes I don't. Don't be offended. I see a lot of people. It's hard to remember everybody. And don't be offended if I forget your name. I'm better with faces than I am names.
So am I.
But if I forget your name, don't be offended.
There's people I've been fixing tires for since I was 14 years old, and I've always called them sir.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, how do you spell your name?
Yeah.
That's how I get around that whenever I'm writing a ticket or something.
I'll get in a courtroom and I can't remember what this person looks like, so I'll just look down the file and I'll say their name and see who throws their hand up.
Yep.
That's how. And Danny Moore, he's attorney. He passed away.
Yeah, rest in
last year,
peace.
I think. Danny's a good guy.
Yeah,
I really like Danny. But he always had their picture on the inside of his file.
That's smart.
Yeah, he would take a Polaroid and he'd put it on the inside of the file so he'd remember what they look like.
That's smart.
That's great.
I love that. We got 4 people running for this office. Each come with their own set of skills or quote unquote qualifications. What sets you apart from them? What's going to make for the people when they're deciding, because they do have a big choice on this. To me, judge is one of the most important decisions for a county.
It absolutely is.
It's way bigger than rep.
There's no other elected
Senate
official in this country that affects the community more than a judge, because it affects the community every day.
Yeah, exactly.
None.
Yeah.
There's not one.
It's such an important position.
The judges in the county affect it more than Donald Trump does.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
They're very important. What sets me apart is my work ethic and my experience and my commitment to that type of work.
Yeah.
I haven't quit any of it. I've been doing it for 10 straight years. Haven't ever shied away from it. Yeah. I've been doing the same stuff that associate judge sees every day is the stuff I've been practicing every day for 10 years, ever since I've been in the practice of law.
Yeah.
I've been doing that type of law the whole time. The other guys can't say that.
Yeah.
Most of them have quit doing it. Now, I don't know why. You'd have to ask them. I don't know if they couldn't do it or they didn't like it or what the reasons were. But
you got a probate lawyer, a defense or a part-time defense, and
yeah. Well, I don't know Lyndall very well. I've spoken with him a few times in court. I just don't see him there very often. And I've only seen Marty in a courtroom. I can only remember once. Now I may have been in the same court with him more than once, but I can't remember. I can't recall it.
Yeah.
And Heath, I probably saw the most because he was an assistant prosecutor at Howell County, and I have a lot of criminal cases. So we worked on a lot of cases together, and I always found Heath to be very reasonable, straightforward. He was honest. I didn't have any questions about him trying to hide discovery from me or something like that. There was no slimy feel to him. He was always straightforward with me. We didn't always agree on stuff, but I don't always agree with any of the prosecutors.
Yeah.
But
par for the course with the
right.
with
But
the
we always had a good working relationship together. Now he quit the prosecutor's office back in December, and I think he's working at a Genesis church, I think is what he said, and he's a city prosecutor for West Plains City. That's kind of a part-time. It's probably it's a part-time gig. It's probably why you can do the Genesis thing too, because that's kind of a part-time gig too, I would say, or most churches are. I don't think they're 40-hour-a-week jobs.
Nope.
So that's what sets me apart. You know, even if the other candidates have at some time in their past done a family law case, they haven't in years.
Yep.
And family law changes. There's changes in the law.
It evolves like everything else.
It evolves, yeah. Now, criminal law is a little more static. It's pretty well settled law mostly. We get a few tweaks here every once in a while, but I think what sets me out apart from those other three is they didn't have the commitment to those other areas that I've had.
Yeah. And you want a dedicated judge.
Right. You want someone that is dedicated to the law.
Exactly.
Because, yes, I'll be the first to admit, family law is not as fun to me as criminal law.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the law.
Yeah.
So I really don't care what the particular subject is, as long as I get to advocate for the law.
Yeah.
Because, as I've said before, I love the law. I think it's benevolent. I think it wants to do the right thing. It wants to see justice done. It wants to see the truth done. And I like that about the law. And you have a lot of different types of lawyers. You have office lawyers, you have trial attorneys, you have big corporate lawyers. You know, there's a lot of different types of lawyers. They wouldn't all make good judges.
Yeah.
I think if you want an attorney that's going to make a good judge, it's got to be someone that's willing to work, because if anybody has seen Judge Ray's docket, it is insane. Yes. He's as busy as there is a judge in this state. Yeah. I mean, he is uber busy. So you need someone in there that's not afraid to work, because this is not going to be a part-time job.
No.
This is not going to be something you can say, well, I don't like family law anymore, I'm not doing it. No, that's not the way the judge law works. You work the cases. And whether it's a family law case or a probate case or a mental health case or a protection order or a criminal case, there is the underpinnings and all that is the law. Mm-hmm. And depending on the facts, I can find the law in it. Yeah. And that's what I like about it. That's why I haven't quit practicing any of it, because there's the law in it. And that's what I always look for. What's the law? Yeah. Because I don't consider myself a real complicated person. I look for what's the law say. I try to boil it down to that. Yeah. You know, if you have a family law case, there's, depending on how old the kid is, 8, 9 factors that go into custody of a child. When I'm building my case in a custody case, those are the factors I care about. Now, clients, they want to talk about 7,000 different things that don't matter to those factors. Yeah. And then I will get frustrated with them. I'm like, that doesn't matter. And they get frustrated with me because I'm telling them their life doesn't matter. Yes. But that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is what we have to focus on are these 8 or 9 factors, not what she said or he said 3 years ago.
This is what's going to boil down in the courtroom.
This is what matters. The law is what matters. What's the judge required to look at? You know, and whether
is that the hardest thing to get through their heads?
It is. It really is. And I don't blame them. It's not their fault. It's just that's not how they're trained. They're not. People ask me all the time, do I need a lawyer for this? And I always tell them the same thing. If I'm going to build a barn out behind my house, I'm going to hire somebody that builds barns. Amen. Not because the barn guy's so much smarter than me. It's just because that's what they do for a living. Yep. And if they build the barn, it's going to stand up well. Yep. If I build it, it may not stand up very well because I don't build barns. So if you're going to be a judge, you can pander to people and you can tell them what they want to hear, that you'll be tough on this, you'll be tough on that. I don't pander to people. What I would tell you is I will always follow the law and I will be fair and I will always look for the truth, because I think the truth is what's important in a courtroom, and I think it's sorely lacking nowadays. And I would hope that I could be some small part in bringing some truth back to the courtroom, because it's sorely lacking.
And just the fact that you'll sit there and you will say, I will not I will not just pander to get
No.
that you are just going to be, this is what it is. We're looking for the law. That says so much about your character.
Well, if you want someone that is always going to treat every person in the courtroom with dignity and fairness and will follow the law and search for the truth diligently, then you want to vote for me.
Yeah.
If you want someone that is not those things, then don't.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not even saying the other three the candidates aren't. I don't know
Yes.
what's in their hearts.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in their minds. I can just tell you what's in mine.
Yeah.
And what's in mine is I want to find the truth. Always have.
Proven.
I value the truth in a courtroom above everything else. And I don't care how slick you are as a lawyer. I don't care how slick you are as a witness. I value the truth more than all that.
Yeah.
I value it highly. It's one of the things I like about getting cops on the stand, because for the most part, I get the truth.
Yeah.
There's some exceptions. I've had a couple of times, and I've had to file some motions on some stuff where it wasn't exactly honest or didn't follow the rules. But the vast majority of the time, I get the truth.
Yeah.
And it's so rare. So I love cross-examining cops. I love calling them as witnesses, because you know you're going to get the truth most of the time. Now, you might get a slanted version because
That's human nature.
Right, because their hammers and everything's a nail.
Yes.
So that's how they see it. And I understand the thought process, because I was a police officer. I understand the point of view. I understand the grind of being a police officer. It's hard on them. You know, it's hard on their families.
Oh.
It's you know, you think you're getting off at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whenever your shift ends, and then something happens at 10 minutes before your shift's over. Now you're there for 4 hours past your shift, and your wife's like, why ain't you home? Or your husband's like, why aren't you home? Well, this happened.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a grind. And there was one of the times when I was a police officer, I almost had to shoot a guy.
Yeah.
I was messed up for 2 days over that.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted to shoot anybody in my life. You know, that's not why I became a cop. But he tried to pull a gun on me.
You got to defend yourself.
I had to defend myself, and he was about 1/8 of an ounce of trigger pressure away from being sent to Hades.
Doesn't that give you just a whole new perspective on everything?
It was so surreal that for the next 2 days, I didn't sleep well.
Yep.
And I asked him what he was thinking when I got him cuffed up. And he said, suicide by cop, I guess. And he just said it nonchalantly, like that wouldn't affect me at all.
Yeah.
You're going to make me kill you?
Because you want to take
Because
these
you
away.
want to take your, no,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And I feel so bad for officers that's had to use their firearms in the line of duty. I've known a couple that had to end someone's life.
Yeah.
And it affects you.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's soldiers out there that's been affected by that.
Yep.
But as a police officer, as a soldier,
You know what you're signing
I think
up.
you're signing up for that, and maybe you can prepare better. Maybe you can't. I don't know. I've never been in that situation. But as a police officer, it's possible.
But their main
But
role is protect and
most
serve.
officers never have to fire their weapon.
Yeah.
They'll go their whole career and never have to fire their weapon. So if you have to, and the worst part about that was the guy that tried to pull a gun on me. I get him cuffed up, and I get the gun out of his pocket that he tried to get out of his pocket. It's empty. There's no bullets in it.
But hindsight's 20/20.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
If he'd have got it out of his back pocket, I'd have ended him.
Yep.
But you know how much that would mess with you.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It would any good person.
Yeah, I never wanted to fire. No, that's not something I ever wanted to have to do. But what I learned that day was I would.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Do what you
I
have
would
to do.
have.
Come home to yours.
And what was funny is I never made a conscious decision to pull my weapon.
Yeah.
Now, at no point. It was just training.
Yep. Muscle
So
reflex.
it was just muscle memory and reaction. And when he jerked away from me and reached for his back pocket, I punched out on him, and all I could think was all the training I had was front, center, slack out of the trigger, watch his hands, because hands will kill you.
Yep.
That's what they trained us. That's all the training we had all the time. It was like hands will kill you, front sight, center mass.
Yep.
Watch his hands. And that's
quick.
what saved him too.
Yeah.
Because when he pulled his hand out from behind his back, he had his fingers splayed.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I
knew he wasn't a threat
I knew
at that
he wasn't
point.
a threat.
Dang.
And then I stepped on the back of his neck, put that gun in the back of his head. I said, "If you move, I'm going to end you."
Absolutely.
I was jacked up, man.
Done.
It was like just an adrenaline drum. I couldn't have picked up a dollar bill off the ground. I was so jacked up at that point.
Yeah. And then you just, like 3 hours later, just so tired.
Yeah,
I love it.
It was just, I was so, and really for like 2 days, if I got to think about it, I'd get that same, it would just jack me up again. I was telling a friend of mine, he's a trooper, Myron Downey, about it. And he was very sympathetic, and he understood because he had been in those situations. He'd been in hairy situations, and he was a good guy to talk to about it and walk through the process. And it wasn't like I was mentally wore out or nothing, but it was so weird that I didn't. What if I had to shoot him?
Yep.
I think that was the question that bugged me the most. Yeah. And then his response
That's
really bugged me.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. He had like $46,000 in cash on him he had stolen from some guy. That's how I got onto him. It was a call, and there was a call in, and they thought this was the guy that stole all this money. And the owner of the money said there was like 46,000 some odd dollars. And we had it in evidence there, and he ended up with like $80 more than he had, because I think the other guy's $80 was in the 46,000 something.
Good investment.
He got $80 more than he would have got. But at the end of when the victim came in to get his money, he was rude.
Really?
Didn't even say thank you.
Wow. Well, that
Just
shows
rude.
the unappreciation of people.
And I think why he was rude is because the gun the guy tried to pull on me, he says was in the money bag. And it was stolen out of California in 1979.
Oh, gotcha.
So I think that's why he don't like cops too much. But he got all of his money back.
You're just worried about something.
Plus
coming
$80.
back. Yeah, plus $80.
Because he knew down to the dollar how much was in that bank bag.
Holy crap.
And he got $80 more than that, because I think it was the other guy's money.
I mean, I've been happy
You'd think you would at least said thank you.
You would have think so.
That's $46,000. I'd like to have that back.
Amen.
If somebody stole it from me.
Me too. Well, man, thank you for coming and doing this. This has been a great look into who you are and, why you're running. Is there anything you want to leave the people with before we leave, before we get done here?
Just get out and vote. You don't have to vote for me, but I'd appreciate it if you do. But make sure you go out and vote. It's important. There's some amendments on I think Devin's going to be talking about these in the next little bit. Probably not today, but
yeah, it'll be this weekend.
Maybe this weekend. There's some amendments on there that are pretty important that need to be voted on as well. I think it not only is our U.S. Constitution needs protected, but our Missouri Constitution needs protected. Yep. So you need to, and I'm not telling you how to vote on those amendments, but you need to do your research on them and make sure you protect that Constitution as well. But I just say get out and vote. It's important. If the voters of Howell County want me to be their judge, I'm happy to do it. If they don't, I'm happy to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I would appreciate the opportunity to be the judge for Howell County, Division III Associate Circuit Judge. I think I'd make this county proud. I think I would do a very good job for them. And I don't think they would. I can't say every person wouldn't regret me being a judge.
Yeah.
You're going to have some people, you can't please everybody, but I think the vast majority of the citizens of this county would be very happy with me as a judge, because they're going to get an honest person with integrity and is going to follow the law and look for the truth and justice, because I really think that's the thing that drives me to want to do this.
Yeah.
Because I think I'll be good at it, and I think I will enjoy it. And that's, if I didn't enjoy the job, I wouldn't do it. And I think I will enjoy that, because it'll be slightly different than the practice of law, because I'll get to really advocate for the law and the truth. And I think that's lacking in the court system right now. I'd like to be a part of bringing some of that back. I've always been into helping people, even my own clients. I try to get them resources or point them in directions that will help them, that will better their lives. I've always tried to do that. I try to help my communities whenever I can. I don't post about it or anything, but we help our local communities all the time. My wife is constantly coming at me with new stuff because she's way more up on what's going on than I am. So we're constantly. I think the last thing we did was Singo Bingo or what it was called.
Yeah,
It's like Christmas in July, because we always do the what's it called, the giving tree thing. We always do that, and it's been part of who we are. I think it's because we're family oriented. We want to, if there's a family in need, we try to help, and we do we adopt families on Christmas, stuff like that. It's important to be involved in your community and help out. I think we did some type of donation to the fireworks show in Mountain View.
That was an amazing show.
Yeah.
So good.
So we do the football cards for the football team. We do all that kind of stuff, and it's not because we want to brag about it or say, look at me, we do this, because we don't post anything about it. I could use it in advertising for my office, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's important to be involved in your community and help when you can. I've been very blessed. I tell my son all the time, I'm not lucky in, like, if I go play a slot machine, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
If I buy a lottery ticket, I'm going to lose. But I've been unbelievably blessed in the stuff that matters.
Yeah.
And I never lose sight of that. So I try to, without being a sap and getting taken advantage of, I try to help out where I can and do the things that maybe it's not flashy and nobody's going to know about it, but I don't care about that so much as I know.
Yeah, it's for you.
It's like when I was probably 19 or 20 one time, and I was working at a mill there in Birch Tree. Mm-hmm. You ever worked at a sawmill? It sucks.
Yes.
But I was working in a mill, and I went to the Bank of Birch Tree to cash my check. I think we got paid on Thursdays, maybe Fridays, whatever. But my check was $176 for all week.
Rolling bank, yeah.
Just rolling into cash back then. But I went into the bank to cash my check, and the cashier counted out $276. I said, "Are you sure that's right?" And she got really hateful with me. "I counted it right out in front of you, sir." I said, "Now hold on. How much was my check?" She said, $176. "How much do you count out?" "Oh my God," she said. "That it took that out of my check." And
You're welcome.
Keith Bowden was sitting over in a chair, just grinning ear to ear.
Yeah.
He said, "She was about to get hateful with you, wasn't she?" Yeah. I said, "I think she was, but I wasn't saying she's a bad person, And
that's funny.
People ask me, "Well, why do you just keep it?" Because I would feel worse about keeping it
than what it ever do for you.
Yeah. I feel much better about giving it back to them than I would about keeping it. It would have bugged me for 2 weeks if I'd have kept that $100.
Yep.
It's like if you go to a restaurant and they give you back too much change. I can't keep it.
Me neither.
If I can get all the way out to the car, I got to turn around and go back.
Yep, me too.
Because it will bug me. It will bug me for days. So I got to take it back. I can't. It'll be like nails on a chalkboard inside my head scratching. You can't.
Be trying to go to sleep and roll around.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yep.
But it's just, that's the type of person I am. I want things to be right. I want them to be fair. I want the truth to be told.
Yeah.
I think if that's the type of judge people want, I'm the guy you should vote for.
Yeah.
Because yes, I'm knowledgeable about the law. I know how to read the law. I know how to analyze the law. That's the easy part. That's black and white. That's easy. The hard part is the judgment the judge has to show, because yes, there's the law, and then there's judge's discretion within that law.
Yeah.
So you want someone that isn't going to say, "Well, I'm just going to give everybody the max."
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that. Just like the question that was asked in the debate about officers being assaulted and they're a special victim.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said they would get the max if they got the charge and they were guilty of it. Well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Because like I was talking to a police officer about it, I said, if you're arresting some drunk girl and she kicks you in the shin, that's assault on a police officer, special victim. That goes up one range of punishment. If that same person shot at you, that's different.
Yes.
Should that person get the max? Probably.
But
if
it'd
they
still be
shot at them,
charged
but
under the same.
it would still be charged under the same thing. Does the girl that kicked you in the shin and the dude that shot at you get the same sentence?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Because there's mitigating, aggravating circumstances to every case, because no two cases are the same. So you want someone that's going to have good judgment. It's not just going to say blanket stuff like, I'm going to give them the max every time.
Yes.
Well, first of all,
The discernment in that is just so bad.
It's out of touch with the reality of what the practice of law is, especially in criminal law.
Yes.
But if you don't practice criminal law,
You don't know.
You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to judge that not only can they follow the law, they can, because I've met a couple that couldn't even understand the law very well,
Yeah.
but that could understand the law, can follow the law, but also have some ability to discern the best disposition for that particular case. Because not all domestic assaults are the same. Not all burglaries are the same. Not all possession charges are the same. They're not all the same. Not even all child sex offenses are the same. There's different levels of that as well. Mm-hmm. So you have to have someone that can look at the case, apply the law, and use their discretion to get the best possible outcome for your victims and for your defendants and for the system and for the community. Because if you just one way or the other,
Yeah.
you're doing a disservice to the job. So you got to be able to critically think.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of lacking in the critical thinking department nowadays.
Because the whole goal with prison and everything is technically reforming that person from doing it again.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, there's,
Except in major case, severe.
There's a school of thought that rehabilitation, there's a couple things. One is punishment, mm-hmm. rehabilitation, and reintegrating into society. It's what I guess if you're looking at a bumper sticker, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
The reality is that the vast majority of cases you will see come through the court system, in criminal cases at least, the vast majority are drug related in some way.
Yeah.
It may be a stealing charge or a tampering motor vehicle charge or a burglary charge, but it's really about drugs because they were trying to do these things to get drugs.
Gotcha. The underline.
Right. The real root of the problem. So if you get a guy that's arrested for stealing, but really he's got a drug problem, he was stealing to support his drug problem, but you just file charges on him, get him convicted of stealing, say it's D felony stealing because it's under $25,000 or whatever. So he's got a D felony that has a possible range of punishment up to 7 years in the Department of Corrections or a year in county jail or a $10,000 fine or any combination jail and fine. He gets convicted of stealing. Say they work out a plea, he gets 3 years, send him to DOC. Well, he might be there 6 months, maybe. They kick him out. Guess what he's doing again? He's stealing because he's still got a drug problem because you didn't address the problem. That's why I'm a big advocate of treatment court. I was involved in the inception of treatment court in the 37th Circuit. I was one of the few defense attorneys that helped on that stuff, and we did it all pro bono. We weren't even getting paid. We were just helping.
Oh, wow. I
think 2 or 3 years after we started, they got some grant money and they gave us a small stipend. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't
worth your time.
It wasn't covering the time we put into them. But I seen it help so many people. One of my favorite stories is Justin Kelly and I were arguing about a client. I wanted her in treatment court. He didn't. He wanted to send her to prison. Yeah. Because she was charged with trafficking. Well, she wasn't a trafficker. She was a user. Her boyfriend was a trafficker. She was just simply around to use. Yeah. And he wanted to send her to prison for 15 years. And I argued with him about it for, I don't know, 6 months. And I got her into treatment court uh, over his objection. Judge Allen let her in treatment court. And I think it was 12 months later, 13 months later, she graduated treatment court. She is now a district manager for Dollar General.
Oh, that's awesome.
Manages a whole bunch of stores.
Yeah. Complete turnaround.
180.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. And I tell you, that's my favorite success story. For every one of them, I can probably tell you 4 or 5 where they didn't work out. Yeah. But we're still helping. It's still helping people. And the first 6 months that I knew that defendant, never seen her smile. 6 months, never seen her. You see her now, all she does is smile. She looks different. Her voice is different. Yeah. When she got off the drugs and she got clean, everything about her changed. Yeah. She looks different. Her hair's different. Her posture's different. Her voice changed. It was insane. Awesome. The transformation was incredible. So, like right now, my wife actually has a client that is a perfect candidate for treatment court in Howell County. They're full. She's like 22, 23 years old. Be a perfect candidate. And she needs help. She knows she needs help.
Yeah.
If we don't get her help, she's just going to be back in the system again. But we can't get her in treatment court because they're full.
So it just turns into a revolving door of...
Right. So we're actually going outside the circuit to try to find a treatment court to put her in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because she needs it.
Yeah.
And it will help her. So I would like to see treatment court expanded. Now, I don't know if that's possible because I don't know what their grants are. I don't know what their budgets are, if it's even possible to do, but I would like to see it because I think it works, because I think it's good for the community. I think there needs to be some changes in the way, you could even expand it to have DWI court.
Yeah.
Because of how, alcohol.
It's an addiction.
It's an addiction. It's the same as meth or heroin or cocaine. It's an addiction. Hell, I'm addicted to nicotine.
Me too.
It's
horribly.
Right. So it's an addiction. So I would like to see that. I think if you can be hardline and say, throw them in jail, lock them up, throw away the key. Yeah. You can be that, but that's not going to actually work. Yeah. And it's not going to benefit the community at all. Yeah. What you have to do is you have to address the underlying problem. And most of the time,
which takes work.
Right. It's hard. It's not, and like the treatment court we have in 37th Circuit has a marvelous set of people that work in it. They're terrific people that care. Some people, I'm sure up in the cities and stuff, they got people that's just there collecting a check and going home. The people in our treatment courts actually care. Yeah. They want to help people. I've seen it firsthand. And so I think our treatment court probably even a little better than most because of those people. And they've got, like Lois Ann, she's the coordinator, terrific woman, passionate about the job. She does it really well. She cares about it. So it's really good program. I'd like to see expanded. I'd like to see expanded to alcohol stuff too, because I think there's a need for it.
There is, especially in our area.
Because most of the time, I'm a defense attorney. I get a guy with a DWI. I'm working out some probation thing, and that's it. Yeah. Maybe they do
like a breath thing in their truck or
yeah, they have to do an interlock device for 6 months, but then you're not addressing the problem. Yeah. Then they're going to be out there drinking and driving again because they haven't addressed the problem. And
because just like anything
else, it was just one, somebody had a few too many glasses of wine at dinner and they drove home and they were a little over limit, that's one thing. Yeah. But someone that's going out every weekend drinking, leaving the bar, and then every once in a while they get busted for the DWI.
Skin and eyes yellow,
Yeah, that's a different situation. They need to be, you have to address that underlying issue or you're just spinning your wheels.
And alcohol is a very special one because you can't just stop that cold turkey. You'll die.
There was, I can't remember the name of the study, but there was a study done with mice. And it turns out alcoholism, there's a gene for it.
Really?
And the mice, and it's a gene that mice and people can both have. And the mice that had this gene would drink till they died. Wow. The mice that didn't wouldn't.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the study, but it was
I'd be
a
very
really good
interested
study.
to read that.
But it was, so it affects people differently. You know, you can take a person that can drink a beer and
Yeah,
go
be
home,
fine. Yeah.
be fine. You other people, they drink one, they got to follow that with 5 or 6 more.
Yep. Yep. And we all know them, you know.
Yeah.
And,
So
and,
if you don't address that, then they're just going to be back out there doing the same thing.
and another thing is how packed the courts are with docket. And
Oh, it's crazy.
so
We don't have enough judges.
Is there? That's what I was going to ask.
No.
What's involved with bringing more judges? Is that like a constitutional thing?
I don't know what the.
Do you think we need more?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it could be a little more efficiently done at times. For the most part, I think the courthouses run about as well as they can
Yes.
with the staff they have and with the amount of caseload they have.
And
with the
government
number
just
of
doesn't make
judges.
anything easy. You
Right.
know?
And then, you know, I think you could probably add maybe 2 more judges to the 37th Circuit, and it would run smoother.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's money in the budget for that. I don't know how that would get paid for.
Yeah.
But
Just
it's hard to get dates at times when you're trying to set things. You know, if we were trying to set something, if it's more than a day, you know, you're looking at the first next year if we can get it set.
yeah.
You know, so because the judges are that busy.
Yeah.
I've seen, you can go into Judge Ray's courtroom on any given docket, and there may be 200 cases on there.
That's crazy.
You know, how you going to, and people will say, catch and release.
Mm-hmm.
That's the term.
That's the term.
Well,
yeah.
When you got 200 cases on one docket, you can't try all those cases. You couldn't try all those cases in a year.
Yeah.
And that's just one docket day.
Yeah.
There has to be pleas. There has to be agreements worked out because you can't try all the cases. And trust me, the prosecutor's office doesn't want to try all the cases.
No.
They don't have the time or the money or the manpower to do it.
Yeah.
And we don't have the judges to do it. So there's a balance. What I've seen in my practice of law is mostly dangerous felons end up going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Most don't. You know, I can probably count on one hand the number of my clients that's went to prison since I've been practicing law.
Yeah.
And I have handled thousands and thousands of criminal cases because most of them aren't animals.
Yeah.
Most of them are not dangers to more than themselves most of the time. They're maybe a danger to your property.
Yeah, your catalytic converters.
Yeah, your catalytic converter or your jewelry may be getting pawned at the local pawn shop, but
Yeah.
as far as danger to life and limb, typically not.
Yeah. They know that line.
Right. So it's a tough.
That's something my grandpa always told me. Is even criminals have a moral code.
They
You
do.
know.
I do. And I'll tell you, I've had, typically, I can find something in every client that I can get behind.
Yeah.
Something. I've only had one I couldn't. And that guy was a piece of work. He was,
Yeah.
he's a bad guy.
Just lost cause.
Yeah. Well, if he'd spent more than a year of his entire adult life out of prison, I'd be surprised. But most of the time, I can find something in them that I can get behind. You know, that they're a hard worker, or they got a good personality, or they're funny, or you know, they like golf, or something. You know, or they're a Cardinals fan. That's something I can get behind. You know, there's usually something, and you got to find something as an attorney, because if you want to do a good job, you got to be pulling for that person in some way.
Yeah.
Do I like all the stuff they do? No. But I also know that the system only works if everybody's treated fairly and equally.
Yeah.
It's the only way it works. So it's fun to think about how, as a judge, I could really narrow my focus to the truth
Yeah.
and to justice and to the law. I think that's what excites me the
Be
most
a
about
breath of fresh air, probably.
it. It would.
Yeah.
It would. And the only thing that I'm not sure how I will deal with is I can't hardly stand listening to two lawyers argue in a courtroom unless I'm involved.
Yeah.
Now, as a judge, you'll be involved, so maybe it won't be bad.
Yeah.
But if there's two in there arguing about something, and I say arguing
Yeah.
purposefully here, I got to leave the courtroom.
Yeah.
I can't hardly stand to listen to it
Yeah.
because I'm not involved. Now, if I'm involved, I it's fine, and I actually enjoy it. But so as a judge, you're kind of involved, but I don't know how I'm going to deal with that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming out and doing this. I've been
Yeah,
excited to get you on.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I told the wife, I said, I think it'd be fun. I've never been on a podcast before, so you're my first.
Well, I
So
appreciate that.
Should be neat. I'm interested to watch it.
Yeah.
See
Yeah,
how
me
it
too.
goes.
This has been a great, just informative. And
Yeah. Well, it's nothing that I've said to you today is scripted. It's just all of it's off the cuff. Every debate I've done has been off the cuff. I don't do a whole bunch of like script writing in my head or something.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more genuine that way.
It is.
And I think if someone asks me a question, I want to be as genuine as I can. I don't want to come off like I'm pandering or like I'm shining you on or just trying to come up with a sound bite.
Yeah.
I want it to be genuine. I want it to be fresh.
And people aren't dumb. Like whenever they hear those scripted responses or those panders or, people catch on pretty quick, and originality, that's something that's lacking in this world. And I appreciate you for being that, being original.
One of the things they talked about in law school, I did trial ad and app ad in law school. And I always got high marks for my trial stuff and my app stuff, the presentation part, because it was one of the things they told you is don't just sit down and read your stuff. Mm-hmm. Make it more open, not just bookish.
Yeah.
So that's what I've always done. And like even in a trial or something, I don't have all my questions mapped out.
Yeah.
What I do is I do bullet points, stuff I want to talk about. It just comes across better than trying to read it.
Yeah.
It just comes across more natural, especially if you're talking to a jury. You got to talk to them like you're at the cafe having breakfast talking. That's how you got to talk to them. Because you try to shine on a jury, they'll know.
Yeah. You
try to pander to them, they'll know.
I'm sure most of those people don't want to be there anyway.
No, they don't. So you just got to be yourself, be human, I don't know any other way to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever been fake to anyone.
Yeah.
If I tell you something, you can be pretty dang sure that's exactly what I believe.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to just pander to you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear just so you go away. If I don't agree with you, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Whether you're a judge or an attorney or just a guy at the golf course.
Yeah.
If you say something to me that I don't believe, I'll tell you.
Yep. And that's a rare commodity in today's world, and I value it.
Yeah. But I've enjoyed this. This has been fun.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you coming. Good luck on
I may have to start a podcast.
You need to.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. I love it. But, well, good luck on August 4th, man. I really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Guys, I hope you found this as informative and just awesome as I have. This is my endorsed candidate for judge, Larry Burton. Get out and vote August 4th. We'll be talking about the amendment soon. Sponsorships and everything, just email me, devtalkspodcast69@gmail.com, or get a hold of me on Facebook. And we'll see you guys later. Cheers.